get your thoughts on the game, please.
Yeah, hard-fought game. Two good teams. They run a lot of good stuff. We run a lot of good stuff. To tell you how hard it was hard to execute and get something easy. It came down to having players that could make plays on their own. You know, Rob Gray for us and Shemet. Shemet made some tough threes where he just their offense broke down and he could play outside the offense. At 6'6", you know, he could raise up over us and make some of those shots. But you know, when we were able to dictate him in the pick and roll and keep him on his left hand, we were a lot more successful. But you know, everybody on our team has a role. They know their role. We challenge them to be all conference in their role, and they do a good job of that. You know, Galen Robinson had 6 assists, no turnovers today. In a game like that, second game in 2 days, pretty good. Rob Gray, I didn't like the way he started the game, so I took him out. But Rob's one of those kids that always responds because he's a winner. You know, winners, sometimes they just need reminding, but I know what I have there. But, you know, you build a culture and you get good kids that'll fight and play hard, don't give in. That's most important in a situation like this. And just proud of our guys' effort. You know, it's kind of a mundane thing to say, but I was really, really proud of how they fought today.
Take questions for coach and the student athletes. Please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Over here in front, please.
Kelvin,
It's up, Joseph.
Kelvin, all season.
It's up.
Okay. All season you've talked about the toughness and the kind of the grittiness of this team. To see them reach down deep in those closing minutes, what can you say just about them pulling it out?
Yeah, and it wasn't just this game. I mean, any game for me. We're down 57-50 against SMU at home. I saw it then. We're down against Connecticut the other day. I mean, we had a lot of blowouts this year, but, you know, if you play 30-plus games, you're going to have about 3 or 4 on either side. 3 or 4 where you're probably not nearly as good as you play, and you're going to have 3 or 4 where you're probably not as bad as you play. That's just the way it is unless you've got a team full of All-Americans and NBA guys. Well, we don't have that. But what we do have is a culture. You know, sometimes that's an overused, misunderstood word. Our kids understand it, and that's what's important. Touching every line in a suicide drill, line drill, being on time, going to class, treating people with respect. You know, culture has a lot to do with everything in their lives, not just basketball. And I think karma comes into play there too. So, you know, there was a calmness, a lot of poise, a lot of composure in our huddles tonight. We knew exactly what we wanted to do. Rob and Galen made the biggest play. Well, Rob made it and Galen finished it. When we took away they tried to get the ball in bounds on the baseline, we took it away, so they wound up having to throw it deep. When you throw it that high, you know, Rob Gray became Ronnie Lott. You guys know who he is? Or Deion Sanders? Kind of a cornerback / safety, just go get it.
Other questions? In the back.
Adam Grossbart, Dallas Morning News. Kelvin, on a national stage like this and against an opponent like Wichita, what does a win like this mean to your program?
Well, it's the second time we've beat them, you know.
I know.
Okay, just want to make sure. You make a great point that this stage is different. I just think it's perception more than anything else. People perceive you differently, maybe. Because in our conference, you know, you hear a lot about Cincinnati and Wichita State and Cincinnati. Well, you know, we tied with Wichita State this year. We both went 14-4. But we have a lot of respect for Greg and his program and Mick and his program. They're both outstanding coaches. They've got really, really good teams. But we've got a good team, too.
Over here to Andrea.
Andrea Adelson, ESPN. For the players, what does it mean to you guys to make it to the championship game here?
you know, we just wanted to come here and take it one game at a time, but it means a lot because that's what we expected of ourselves, and we had high expectations. Like I said, once we lost at Memphis, we knew we fell out of contention to win the regular season title or a share of it. So the only way to get that back would have been to come down here and go on a 3-game winning streak and cut down the nets in the conference tournament.
You know, to follow what he said, what was the question?
Can you repeat the question for my man? It's his first time.
Oh, yeah, Coach, you know, he preaches culture, and we let our culture take over. Very excited to be playing tomorrow, very fortunate, and, you know, just looking forward to the game.
Back over here.
George Barnett, Brackenville, USA. Galen, for you, your dad played at Houston, and you're a part of kind of the renaissance of the program. Just kind of talk about the pride you must feel being from Houston and playing for the school that your father went to.
Definitely very prideful. I don't know if anybody loves Houston more than I do, but I remember when Coach Sanchez was recruiting me, he sold me on the vision, I bought into it, and it's all coming to light, so I'm just following the plan right now.
To add on, I think that for the city slogan that Galen created, that ties in a lot. You know, he really does love Houston, and he created for the city. We play for the city, and we do it all for the city. So we in the championship game for the city. Shout out to Galen for making that slogan.
Galen, can you take us through that last play on the inbounds that they did, exactly what you saw, what happened, and then kind of after that, you're part of the pass that was intercepted at midcourt, and then I think you also helped alter that last shot that they took at the buzzer.
I blocked it, but as far as the pass to get in, Coach told us to switch it 1 through 4, and he also tells us to always let our instincts take over. So that's what I did. I read his eyes, I read his vision, and in that kind of scenario, he's not gonna make a no-look pass. So I saw he was throwing it, and I intercepted it, and then as far as the one that Rob intercepted, I just knew I had to finish the layup. So, and then for the shot I blocked, I knew that he had to shoot. He couldn't pump fake. It wasn't enough time, so I just jumped as high as I could and tried not to foul him.
Questions back here in front.
Matt Rochelle from the Orlando Sentinel. Rob, it seemed like in the second half, all of a sudden, things just kind of clicked for you, and it almost looked like it kind of became a more of a street ball type of performance. You kind of were taking over the game. What kind of, you know, maybe ignited that for you when you started playing that way?
Well, yesterday I went 0 for 5 from the 3, and then the first half I went 0 for 3 from the 3. So when the first one fell, you know, it just kind of relieved me of a lot of pressure, and I don't know if the first 3 I hit, I think it put us up maybe 1 or 2, so it just kind of got my swag back from beyond the arc, and then, like you said, it's kind of street ball, just instincts taking over, and just trying to just play my game and be effective and efficient as possible to help us win.
Joseph.
For the players, coming in, you guys were safe in terms of NCAA tournament, but how much would it mean not only to, if you win and complete this tomorrow, you get a championship, but it almost takes everything off the table. You don't have to rely on, you know, are you an at-large or stuff like that? You are not an automatic bid.
Go first. You got it.
All right, well, you know, like Coach Sanchez said, you know, in this conference you hear a lot about Cincinnati and about Wichita State, and we like to think that we have a good program as well. And we know, I think right now they're ranked 8th and 11th, and we're sitting at 21. But as far as seeding goes, it's a big deal to come down here and make it to the championship and even win, because it just shows, again, it changes the perception that maybe the committee may have about our program and the country. So it's a big deal, and we're really looking forward to competing with Cincinnati tomorrow.
He hit everything on the head.
Time for a couple more for coaching the student athletes. One more from Andrea.
For Kelvin, just some quick thoughts on the matchup tomorrow against Cincinnati.
Yeah. Well, Gary Clark in Washington posed problems for us like Morris did today. I mean, we really had a hard time guarding them the second half. We were leaking oil there. They were beating us on some things that were just a little bit slow in our rotations. Our bigs were maybe not in the right spot a couple of times. But Cincinnati's going to do the same thing. You know, Clark and Washington, and then the two bigs, Scott and Brooks, off the bench. They pose a problem. Evans is really playing well. And then the Broom kid, who really wasn't a factor the first two games, has really stepped up his game. You know, he's a good player. But, you know, it comes down to being able to rebound. You know, for us to be a good rebounding team, Davis has got to play better. You know, I think Devin can play better. He was so good last night. It was almost like he shot a 62 last night and followed it up with a 75 today. Hopefully he can get back down in the mid-60s tomorrow. But it's going to be a fight. You know, this is another team we've played twice. You know, either team can win this thing. Both teams are going to be. It's not going to be the toughest team wins because both teams are tough. It's going to be the teams that your best players have to step up and play well in a game like this tomorrow.
Houston, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we're joined by Coach Greg Marshall, senior Shaquille Morris, and sophomore Landry Shamet. Coach, if we could begin with your thoughts on the game, please.
Well, that's a tough one to lose. I thought we played really well in the second half up until the very end, and we lost to a very good team, and that's all we were going to face in this tournament. We knew that, but we've got to execute better down the stretch. That's on me, and need to make a couple of free throws, and I think we could walk out of here with a win, but we've got to execute better and make sure we call our timeouts if we don't have the option we're looking for on the out of bounds.
Questions for Coach of the student athletes? Please raise your hand and we'll get a microphone to you. Over here.
Landry, could you just kind of talk about how tough Rob Gray was tonight?
Yeah, he's a good player. Multi-dimensional, especially when he's shooting it well like he was tonight. But, you know, part of that's just on us, not really pressuring the ball enough. Not taking anything away from him. You know, he's a hell of a player. First team all-conference for a reason, and we just didn't defend him well enough. And he made some big plays down the stretch, and, you know, we knew that's what he does, and, you know, credit to him.
Adam Grossbart, Dallas Morning News. For anyone really, what was it about the Houston defense that made it tough to score in the first half?
Well, they're very aggressive. They were getting up in our guards. It was very physical. They started calling the game a little differently in the second half. It was much more, okay, let's clean it up. I don't know why they decided at halftime they wanted to clean it up. So we played one half kind of rough and tumble, and the second half was more, let's clean it up. But they're just a good defensive team. They're gritty, they're tough, they're well schooled, and they were knocking us off our cuts. They were making it they took the ball from us a couple times, so their physicality certainly bothered us.
Other questions for Coach of the student athletes?
Coach, I know you just lost, but I know the last few years you've had some issues with your seeding in the NCAA tournament. Is that something you thought about or expecting now that you're in a better conference now?
I really don't. I have no idea what to expect. We know we're in. I'd like to be positively surprised one year, but I don't anticipate anything favorable. I just hope that we get a good draw and a good place to go, and we go play well and see how far that can carry us.
Okay. Any final questions before we choose Coach of the players? We should not say it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.